epic Old North tells the story of Princess Kraka, the World Health Organization, in order to win the heart of King Lodbrok Ragnar, powerful and was to prove their worth and intelligence during the meeting, both dressed and without two, and not fast but not overstuffed either. Accompanied by, but not in the company of any person. Frankly, what the king wanted really was to have the cake and eat it too. Kraka, resourceful woman, who was soon solved its mission. In order to be warm but without clothes, she wears a fishing net, and be accompanied by, without being in the company of any person, to have brought along the dog. To not be overstuffed or fast is nothing in her mouth.
Today I will, as cunning Kraka, in an attempt to avoid either or all of this world, pay tribute to the downturn of the silent majority. I will try to say something succinctly and speak without saying really anything at all.
We live in exciting times, and commonly believe that in times like these, urgent must stop talking and just get on and do it there, out there and act. Also, from advocates of the silent majority, I am always sympathetic towards the track stop talking, and I see the content is because I'm not alone in thinking that the chit-chat at our disposal does not really get us anywhere. However, contemporary work which suggested that instead of chit-chat, it seems not enough for me, and therefore I silently to consider if we should not rather be able to generate the kind of dynamism in the silence of a strange and spiteful, apathetic majority. Not intentionally apathetic is, of course, contradiction, and succeed with a higher closing in order to avoid accepting any nonsense as eligible for the discussion, which is a daunting task and therefore does not even sound indifference. However, I will do my best for the success of Lazy. And I must say I'm very pleased to present my own Kraka solution. Where you are lazy, you will do all the hard work of keeping quiet, while I lead you in a piece of music by John Cage, 4:33. It is silence in 3 movements lasting 4 minutes and 33 seconds. It's a piece originally conceived for the piano, but John Cage writes in his introduction to the piece that no action shall be taken music, and the movements of May last any length of time. Today, as we will be playing on the Coleman paper, for the timing, however, and will adhere to the timing of the show in the world in Woodstock, New York, August 29th, 1952. Here, the pianist David Tudor, the first move 30 seconds, and the second movement in 2 minutes and 23 seconds, on the third movement in 1 minute and 40 seconds. I distribute some of the instruments. Maybe you can send it around. Perhaps there are also some of you who do not know how to play the Coleman paper. I'm not very good at it myself, but I had more of a success for the wrapping paper around the comb like this. If you do not have enough of the tools, you can also play on only credit cards, shoe cards, card Tivoli, or even a social security card, like this. you all ready? Then let us begin. All you have to do is to follow up the points with me. Target is Latin for please be quiet and stay calm instruments. Thank silence. The next 2 minutes and 23 seconds start. Thanks. Let us now play the last 1 minute and 40 seconds. And ready? Thank you, John Cage. There are, of course, more to keeping calm, which meets the ear. And I'm not done with talking about it until now. Facebook profile. I was rather affected by the fact, protected by the lie, of the got 1,312,857 fans on Facebook. If you were to tell the truth that 1,312,857 of these people want to hear, and I have to admit, I feel really naked in the dress of fishing nets krake. So I ask you, and 1,312,857 of these people, if it is then to be honest of me, if you were to come to Ragnar pretending to be wearing, if I couldn't really believe in it myself. Of course, the Viking men are not known exactly sensitivity, and I take it that Ragnar Lodbrok would be very interested in anyone that I felt. Ragnar, and more modern and sensitive, however, may feel cheated if my feelings about nudity and other things, and they do not agree with what I would tell him, because it is those feelings that we are very real today as it is believed. This is on the inside that counts, as we all know. If they do, they believe that the deepest feelings, then I would technically be naked if I was naked. And I think that this will anger a Ragnar talk that you want to love the real me, not some superficial naked. But perhaps the idea of truth is the very problem, that the sufferings of contemporary people and urge to speak up about any tendency, rotten as they may have. What began as a great idea of universal truth to the minds of the free, after God and within us all, if we would not dare to just think for ourselves, and it turned out from paradoxes in a philosophy of dystopic everything from screaming. Thus, even faint of trivialities, from nudity to dirt under the carpet for a secret sex with that woman, suddenly became community affairs. Matters that everyone is entitled to be told about it, and it has a duty to talk about. Even your tools you must apparently to discuss publicly, and the fact that a spade is a spade and shouted at each place without any precision of pompous nonsense. Why now a source of embarrassment, disappointment to all us and the Enlightenment supporters who believed in the truth as revolutionary? Not only is it a disappointment that the truth is not as great as we had promised, but also a disappointment in the modernity that we expect great things. Who would have thought that all these people, the modern that have arisen in a world, a wonderful complex, full of new opportunities, where everything sometimes seems like anything can be an eloquent silence, can be transformed to make a point, especially from the obvious fact that the spade are the things spade. But the epic about the ancient names is, in fact, maybe that was possible once we recover from our disappointment to rise again, with the support of the history of the spade too. Spade, which is really only a misunderstanding historical, and spade process that is a question that calls on the reality of things, for example, in the original basin. In 178 BC, Plutarch wrote on the Macedonians, the people that this can be called the basin of the basin. Later, Erasmus of Rotterdam, in the translation to him, thought that the trough was spade. That, in the way we can say this is a spade, which is based on the concept of straight talk, is not in fact at all the spade. This makes me think that I have repudiated the potential of the toolbox a little too soon. Moreover, it has been shown that the vast, fraudulent and impractical as it seems kraka was in practice just for keeping warm, as researchers demonstrated that modern clothing holes in the clothing really good for warmth, which is also the philosophy behind the series jacket. With this new knowledge that a spade is not a spade, and the facts are clear about the warm and more complex than one would think, there is no reason to believe, and we hope that if the truth must come out, you will be able to make something better than that, and the largest from the just stating the obvious. As we have seen, we are just, and it seems that there is to be achieved some contradictory dynamic that stared back at the right time, and we do not have to go all the way back to Erasmus of Rotterdam even. Let's look back to 1918 to get the appropriate, quiet place for a new beginning. In 1918, there was a lot of people who, after years of digging the trench and dig their own graves, it was painfully familiar with the spade. Seems perhaps that is why we urge that some calm, do not say another word about spades or anything else for that matter, appear here. This need, which began the tradition, has remained alive ever since. Tradition in which people in different places all over the world gathered each year on the day of armistice in 1918 and to maintain calm side by side. Thus, every year on 11th of November since 1919, London has been recognized by silently untold, did not say, with the celebration of 2-minute silent victims of war. In 2001, and British artist John December collected recordings of All Silent, which was held in the English language, a double CD, Kenotaphion, called. This night we'll play one of my personal favorites from this CD for you, and silence, such as Master Kraka, both or either. Now listen carefully to the silent cry of 1989, held in the midst of an atmosphere of euphoria, 5 days after the fall of the Berlin Wall. Anyone else?